Everyone can be a part of a patient's recovery process and can help reduce stigma or biases patients may experience while hospitalized.
Ethical and other applications and research show an ongoing need for social change strategies accompanied by mental health advocates, clinicians, and other professional caregivers to influence the direction of research and social policy.
The Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, also known as SAMHSA, defines recovery as a journey of healing and transformation, enabling a person with mental health problems to live a meaningful life in a community of his or her choice while striving to achieve his or her potential.
Recovery can mean many things to many people. What does recovery mean to you?
Recovery is getting well. It is lengthy. It is not something you do in one day. Recovery shows initiative. You isolate problems and come up with many solutions. It is a healing process and a lifetime journey that requires discipline, understanding, and self-evaluation. Recovery to me is also becoming more acquainted with both my illness and events, and developing insight with the help of psychotherapy, and becoming better with the help of medicine and other interventions.
Recovery to me is learning how to exhibit more patience.
Recovery to me is being able to distinguish when you are sick and when you are healed. It is knowing the difference between your symptoms and knowing the difference between your early warning signs. It is being able to function in a normal environment. Recovery is also mentally and physically being able to make decisions on your own behalf. It's being part of meetings, learning more about your mental illness, and gaining insight on your diagnosis and triggers.
Recovery is taking steps day by day with your peers and sponsors and trying to work on mental illness.
Recovery is getting out into the community and being involved in positive things. Going to work, getting to the doctor on time. It is also a mind, body, and spirit connection. Don't get down on yourself.
So what does recovery mean to you?
Recovery is knowing your mental illness, taking medication, and being honest. It's engaging in therapy, being self-aware, and helping yourself. Recovery may take days, months, or years, but it's about moving forward.
Any situation that leaves you feeling overwhelmed and alone can be traumatic, even if it doesn't involve physical harm. It's not the objective facts that determine whether an event is traumatic, but your subjective emotional experience of the event. The more frightening and helpless you feel, the more likely you are to be traumatized.
About 50% of hospital inpatients experience a traumatic event while in the hospital. Harmful events that are reported most frequently include being handcuffed while being transported, being placed in seclusion, being around other patients who were perceived as frightening or violent, witnessing fears being subdued by force, being placed in restraints, and being strip searched.
According to the Surgeon General, clinician biases influence the utilization of inpatient treatment among African Americans and other minorities. Biases is reflected in the over or misdiagnosis of mental disorders in minority groups, such as Asian Americans. Mental health treatment is viewed as uninviting, inappropriate, or not as effective for minority groups in the comparison to whites. Traumatic experiences can be dehumanizing, shocking, or terrifying, singular or multiple compounding events over time, and often include betrayal of a trusted person or institution, and a loss of safety.
What does stigma mean to you?
Stigma is a common illness statement. To a person with mental illness, it is common to be stigmatized, that they are less publicly and socially functional in society.
Stigma to me is when you think you don't have to show me the same respect that you want, and you don't acknowledge the fact that I have feelings, all because I'm labeled as being mentally ill.
I feel stigmatized or branded by others because I have a mental illness and feel that my condition is given more recognition than who I really am as a person.
Stigma is a personal negative viewpoint by someone. I have experienced stigma by you being told that I shouldn't have an active friendship during my recovery process.
Stigma kept me from going back to work. I have to be on medication for life. There's no cure. Staff helped me keep a routine. I feel that I can overcome trauma by staying on my medication, talking to my therapist.
Things the patients would like to emphasize. It's hurtful to hear comments from staff like, oh, well, he's bipolar, or he's a criminal. Don't treat me like a diagnosis. We want to be treated more like persons, not patients. Stick to the facts and documentation. State what happened, not your opinion. Try not to be judgmental. Be careful of the things you say or how you say things. Be mindful of the attitudes and facial expressions you display towards patients. Remember to be professional and act appropriate on the units. It can be hurtful to hear staff discuss you as if you're not even there.
It is important to keep in mind the following statements when working with patients who have experienced trauma. People who have experienced trauma often have a pervasive mistrust of those who are in power. They also often bring suspicions, avoidance, and hostility to their relationships and may have difficulty regulating emotion and controlling impulse.
How can staff better assist dealing with trauma? What can they do to assist?
Staff is helpful when they work together as a team to help the patient experience less trauma. It is helpful when they give a positive outlook to help the situation and to make it less evasive, to keep the trauma to a minimum. I feel that staff can better assist trauma patients by being sincere, not having preconceived notions, and offer a one-on-one therapy to make the patient feel a sense of security.
I feel that the staff should be mindful and more understanding of what you are going through. I think they need to empathize and put themselves into my shoes to better understand what I am going through.
I feel that staff should be mindful that when a patient has a previous trauma, going to seclusion can add more trauma to an already hectic day. I believe, in terms of trauma, that staff should be more understanding of situations that may cause trauma. Examples include knowing how to call for help, what medication to give, and when to suggest therapy.
Staff can help us by giving aid to us, assisting us, being nice, understanding patients, and caring.
I feel that staff should be more open-minded about changing our medications. I mean, I say that because we may be allergic to some and others may be too strong for us. How can staff better assist you?
I feel staff can better assist with me by not focusing on the negative behavior, but also focusing on the positive situations they observe and documenting these positive situations to create an even balance in documentation. Also, by giving constructive feedback and positive reinforcement to help the patients to become more comfortable with overcoming previous traumatic experiences.
Try to remember to knock on our doors. Try to be a creative group leader and avoid redundancy. Don't make you feel like you just played a group 5 minutes ago and don't care about what you are teaching. Some things patients like about Eastern State Hospital is the food, internet, positive peers, and treatment teams. Some things patients at Eastern State Hospital want to do are prepare for the community, get education on their treatment and illnesses.
Listening to clients and patients, taking an active interest in patients' potential and daily life activities, seeing beyond labels and looking at individuals are some suggested remedies to practitioner labeling. Trauma-informed care is an approach to engaging people with histories of trauma that recognizes the presence of trauma symptoms and acknowledges the role that trauma has played in their lives.
In trauma-informed systems, care providers should emphasize patient collaboration over patient compliance. Care providers should also attempt redirection techniques, such as one-on-one conversation or helping a patient engage in an enjoyable task at first sight of distress when indicated. Staff may want to keep in mind that the use of PRN medication, seclusion, or restraint could trigger thoughts of previous traumatic events. Care providers should not forget the significant power differential created by simply having a badge and a set of keys.